time, it is my great pleasure to introduce the great Bear Love.
How we doing, Denver? Woo! Yeah. We're gonna turn the microphone up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I do not need a microphone. I will yell at you guys. Okay. They call me Big Bear, but I just lost 30 pounds of weed in the mail. How am I gonna pay rent? But I look young, but I actually come from a different time. I've had a beeper in my day, and it wasn't even to sell weed yet. It was so my mom could tell me to come home. I knew they were tracking devices from the beginning. But I come from a different time. I saw Blockbuster get put out of business by Netflix. I saw one of my favorite, Toys R Us, get put out of business by Amazon and Walmart. I saw heroin get put out of business by fentanyl. I come from a time where you could find a mystery bag of powders on the barroom floor and go home and have a good night. Nowadays, you have to know chemistry to take that cocaine home. I didn't come from free love like the hippies, but I at least came from mystery bag of powders is okay. Yeah, and any parents in the crowd? Awesome. Hippies, we don't have a lot of kids because we're pretty childish, obviously. You guys keep track of how good your kids are doing with the height on the wall? We keep track of the length of our hair as the last time we saw a judge. I'm doing pretty good. But a hippie feels safe in Denver because you guys went and legalized pot. Thank you. Kind of put me out of a job, though. Nobody tells you what happened to the weed man, the one that made it out. He delivers pizza now. DoorDash. And these people with the snowboard racks on the top of the car looking like cops, they're slowing down your food, I'm sorry. Not even real police. But Denver, you guys legalized pot. In the same year, you guys installed all these traffic circles around town. You guys just have stoners doing laps, lost. I've tried to come down here 3 or 4 times and ended up in Lakewood. I think you guys installed your circles as defense. Awesome. But my buddy, his parents are hippies. And growing up is confusing enough. But how do you go through that rebellious phase when you've got hippie parents? Get a job, go to school. It's kind of hard to run away from your dad's teepee. And he chases you down on horseback and says, "It's cool, bro, we can talk about it." But hippies actually did some good things for parenting. They invented the word grounded. Take away the TV, take away the tablet, get grounded. Before that, we just beat our kids. I think I'm still grounded. My buddy, his parents are hippies. Mine are not. Spooning in his family means laying with your lover. Spooning in my family means getting hit with a wooden spoon when you try and taste the gravy too soon. You know, my buddy, he's got hippie parents, and he said they got to choose their own punishment. I was like, what does that even mean? They were like, yeah, we got caught toilet papering, and we chose not to see our best friend for a whole week. I was like, that's interesting. I got to choose the stick my grandma would whoop me with off of the tree. Difference is when you have hippie parents. But I brought my friends to Burning Man who have hippie parents, and I'm going by Bear Love out there at Burning Man, which is, believe it or not my birth name. And their parents are hippies. So their birth names are Blu-ray and Solmar. And so at Burning Man, they were like, Bear, what's our hippie name? What's our Burning Man name? And they realized they kind of already came with hippie names, Blu-ray and Solmar. So the whole Burning Man, they went by Bob and Sam. You go by Bob, I'll go by Sam. It was perfect. Awesome. Well, now that you guys legalized pot, I'm not too worried about, the government looking in on our lives, But if the government's going to be watching us, I feel like they should be giving us some stats like Spotify Wrapped. Am I actually the worst driver in Denver, or is that just what my ex-girlfriend says? They have this information. I feel like I'm in the top 1% of texting I'm on the way while still laying in bed. They know this, not these numbers. I feel like I've eaten at Rally Berto's on 38th more than anybody in this town, but I don't know for sure. All right, the burritos are the best. All right, but I'm a hippie. You guys think it's easy being a hippie because I don't have a real job? But how many times have you used your job to get out of doing things you didn't want to do? These people know I don't have to work in the morning. I had to help a friend move a fish tank on Tuesday. I'm going out to Lamone this weekend to pick up a pit bull. I thought it would be nice if my friend got over his breakup with his girlfriend by getting off of my couch. But instead, we're getting a dog this weekend. Sometimes it would be easier to have a real job, be a real boy. But like I said, when you guys legalized pot, you guys actually put me out of work. I used to grow pot high up in the Colorado Rockies, double meaning, high. And the worst thing that can happen to you when you're growing pot is for the police to show up. But pot's legal. So the worst thing that can happen in Colorado at your weed grow is you can run out of Kool-Aid. Chiba Hut thinks it's a real drink for us stoners. They put it on tap like it's a real drink. Did I turn that off now? That'll help. So Chiba Hut puts it on tap like it's a real drink. They have Kool-Aid where you can get it out of the tap. So, but have you guys ever been so stoned you thought you invented something that you didn't really? That happened to me in Conifer. So, my girlfriend shops at Costco, so when I looked up in the cabinet and saw we were out of Kool-Aid, there's buckets of sugar up there. And I look up in the cabinet, and all these hippies that were up at the grow had brought up a bunch of tea. And so I was like, genius, we can flavor the sugar water with the tea. And for 3 days, nobody called me out. I was like, honey, you want another batch of sugar water tea? What flavor? My friends probably thought there was pot in it, looking at me, but it was just celestial seasons, sleepy time. But your family will keep you in check. I was telling my cousin from Texas that I wanted to open up a stand at Red Rocks with the different flavors of sugar water tea, which is better than the artificial flavors in Kool-Aid anyways. And he said, this is really good, Bear, but you did not invent sweet tea. For 3 days, I thought I did. Awesome. Burning Man's pretty crazy. Has anybody been to Burning Man? Yeah. Well, for people who don't know what Burning Man is, it's kind of like Disneyland for people on LSD. So, but Burning Man, I was there with my friend's parents, it was hippie parents, and we were eating some LSD because we're at Disneyland. And he says these words to me. He looks like Gandalf, and he goes, Bear, you're going to eat some acid? He goes, you got to remember the rules of psychedelics. Does anybody know the rules? Water's wet, fire's hot, and you can't fly. All right. And if you're at Burning Man, don't forget your goggles, right? Yeah. So there's dust storms out there. And so I forgot my goggles my first burn, so I'm already messing with witchcraft. And so my buddy who forgot his goggles, we split up after we ate our LSD. And he ends up going off, and I ended up meeting the girl of my dreams. Yay. And the friend she brought from home, which for the rest of the story, we'll call him Cock Blocker. And Burning Man is a costume party, so I'm dressed up as Wolverine. She's dressed up as a unicorn, and my cock blocker is dressed up as Napoleon Dynamite. Vote for Pedro. And Burning Man's like crafts. You're like going craft to craft, face painting, different things. Make your own peyote, those things, and absinthe out of a Gatorade bottle. So basically, we're going camp to camp, and Napoleon doesn't realize he's the third wheel. Like, we're trying to kind of lose him. Like, hey, look, a lot of things to do. But he's just with us. And finally, a dust storm actually whips up, and that old man's words about the goggles came true. And I was like, what's going on? So we just ran to the closest structure, kind of trying to ditch Napoleon. But it was a big teepee out there in Burning Man. They built this huge teepee bigger than this room right here. And when we get in there, they were shutting the door. And Napoleon just barely made it in. So we're all locked in to this camp at Burning Man, which we found out was a massage camp. There was a bunch of people on mats, it's nap time, massaging each other. So 40, 50 people massaging each other. And a massage camp at Burning Man is only not an orgy for 44 minutes. I was in there for 45. So, with my cock blocker, hippies have a lot of group sex, but it's not always because we want to. Sometimes it's because of a cock blocker that wouldn't go away. So, we're in there, I sit down with my love, and I start to, massage her shoulders. Napoleon, there's 40 other people that he could go to, comes in and starts massaging her feet. She's loving it. She goes, are you guys going to feed me grapes? So I'm like, God damn it. So I'm massaging her shoulder. He starts rubbing her legs. So I go side boob. Most competitive massage I've ever been a part of. And we didn't realize this, but all other 40 Max was watching us to see if we're going to take it there. And we took it there. Me and Napoleon were competitive. So, all right, either way. And a group orgy at Burning Man is funny because everybody's in costume. So we got the Loch Ness Monster and Scooby-Doo going hard in the corner. We got the whole cast of the Avengers. Wolverine is obviously the hero. So basically, and so we clean up as fast. It's embarrassing, so we say, hey, we'll catch back up. I tell my lover, hey, well, I'll see you in a little bit. Let's meet back up after we go to camp. And this guy comes up to me, who was the head of this camp, and he says, this was called Munchkin Land. He goes, I just want you to know, he gave me this big hat. He goes, you're now the mayor of Munchkin Land. Because I guess you don't start a massage camp unless you're waiting for a bear to flip that down. So he was waiting the whole time. So we end up leaving. And I didn't see my lover for like a couple days. It ended up, because it's a big party, 70,000 people are there. I ended up running into her. She's with Cockblocker. And she came up to me, and guess what she said? She goes, hey, Bear. And I go, hey, we're going back to Munchkin Land? And she goes, no, look. He proposed to me. I had a moment of clarity right there. I was the Cockblocker. That was his wife to be. But let's check in on my buddy. He also ended up, far away. And Burning Man's built like an A, B, C, D. It's like a C, but it like goes out. The further the letter, the further you are from the center. My buddy's out at L, which is kind of the edge of Burning Man. And there's some joke camps, and there's all types of camps, yoga camps during the day. And he finds this camp written in Christmas lights. It's like a circus tent. And he gets closer, and it says Anal Blah Camp. Anal Blah Camp. And he gets a little closer. He realizes the last word is bead. Anal Bead Camp. He thinks it's a joke. He's on LSD. He walks in there. Definitely not a joke. There is a table full of anal beads, all shapes and sizes. KY jelly and some gloves. And he said that there was a person on a table, completely naked, looking at him. And LSD is not a super sexual drug. So at that moment he's like, do I run or are we going to do this? So he gets a little closer and he thinks it's going to be a joke. This person's like, this is a joke. And it's not a joke. So she just looks over at the pile of anal beads. And he's like, I ain't a bitch. So he gets in there and he gets closer and he goes and he doesn't want to be rude. So he picks out, he doesn't go for the big ones, but he doesn't want to go for the small ones because supposedly she's into this, so he goes for the Goldilocks of anal beads, just right, and he gets closer and she does this move and now they're looking eye to eye, brown eye. So he says, okay, we're going to do it. Okay, so he gets one. And he puts the gloves on. He don't know her. So he puts one in. And she doesn't make a peep. Not even a giggle. So he puts the other one in. Gets them all in. That's how it sounds. Gets them all in. And she doesn't make a peep. So he's like, is she even into this? Were you at a weekend? So basically, so he gets them all in and he goes, it must be a speed thing. So like he's going to start a lawnmower. He puts his foot up there. And he forgot his goggles too. And when he pulled, the shit hit the fan. So if you're on acid at Burning Man, don't forget the rules. Water's wet, fire's hot, and you can't fly. And if you're at Burning Man, don't forget your goggles. All right. How much time do I have? You read there?
We're close. Okay.
All right. I won't leave you with that one. Okay. I've got a little bit of gray in my beard, so you can say I'm going through a midlife crisis. But my generation doesn't know how to do a midlife crisis. My dad bought a Corvette, spins in circles. My generation doesn't have Corvette money. So a midlife crisis for my generation looks like a 35-year-old should be trading recipes with the other moms at school, but instead this weekend she's getting her head shaved. Britney Spears? That's a midlife crisis for my generation. I'm still trying to date. I'm not picking on the girls. The guys, G.I. Joe, he is also doing it too. He's shaving his head. I guess he should have joined the military 25 years ago, but he's been working in a factory with his dad. His knees are gone, but you'll find him this weekend at Bass Pro Shop, looking for night vision goggles to hunt a deer. If you need night vision goggles to hunt a deer, Tanner, you're not the warrior we need. All right, let's bring Felix back home. Let's get loud one time, Denver.
Very well. Thank you very much.